Hey, welcome to the Mashcast, episode 14, I think. I'm Kenny, and we got a stacked cast today, joined by one of the original hosts of the Mashcast, episode 1. That's right, we have Steven, the Lightning Goza, with us.
Damn, what up, everybody? How's it going? Good seeing you again. It's been too long.
Man, it's like you've had all your podcasting energy just bottled up, ready to explode this episode.
Oh, listen, podcasting ain't just for one moment. It's a lifestyle, dude.
Yeah.
This is just every day. That's just what you got to do.
It is. That's why I'm streaming all the time now, to keep these energies going.
Mm-hmm.
And as usual, joined by Charlie and Billy. How are you guys doing today? All right.
The opposite energy. Hey.
Steven, they have no podcasting energy anymore. It's gone.
We're tired.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The podcasting life force has been drained from you.
Yeah.
Shit. It's all good, man.
Well, Steven, we are happy to invite you to be with us again. This is such a joy.
Oh,
Just as our first story, Sony would like to invite you to order PlayStation 5 if you've met certain conditions.
if you've met their high standards.
Yeah, so Charlie, do you know much about this story here?
Just that link went up and pre-orders for pre-orders. It's not actually a pre-order list. It's to get on the list to be a pre-orderer.
Yeah.
And somehow it's determined by your PlayStation account. So like how much activity you're actually doing on PlayStation.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a good shill, a good thrall for Sony, then
Have you platinumed all their first-party titles? And
you'll have the privilege of potentially pre-ordering the game. Because it's not even a guaranteed pre-order. You'll be the first one on the pre-order list. But if you don't pre-order it in time, I mean, you won't get it. So you still gotta worry.
Oh, man. And people are going to game that. Just like back in the TF2 days, getting those hats, they're going to set up like a bot to like play their PlayStation game for them just so they can have the opportunity to be on that list.
Well, see, we don't know what the conditions are, really. We're just guessing. So it's all super secretive.
It's going to be what a good shill you can be.
But
That's not the only thing they're going to care about.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll
It's
see.
just-
Are you going to talk smack? Are you going to talk smack about it? Then you're not going to get on there.
Yeah,
Mm.
and that's
I want
okay.
Positive PlayStation friends to be able to enjoy the device.
Yeah.
And I think, that's all right. I mean, obviously, this is a marketing tactic. We know that they've been ramping up production of their consoles going into this holiday season. But it's really hard to tell what this is all going to look like, because there's going to be a lot of people who this holiday season just can't afford it because of the state of the world that we're in right now. And but then that means that people who are going to scalp are always going to scalp, and they're going to have it up on eBay for you. So Sony doesn't need to worry about selling these PlayStations. They're going to sell.
Yeah.
So it's just to get people hyped.
But I mean, if there's no one willing to buy it at the scalper's price, then eventually they'll start selling it for the regular price.
Yeah. It would go down eventually, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think there's more at the moment that people who would be interested in a PS5 probably are thinking more about it. Does it actually have any games, or like, is the system actually good or not? Like, that kind of deal. I'm not sure. This is a marketing tactic, kind of like Google did with Gmail back in the day. So that's fine. It works. It gets people hyped up about it and interested because it's exclusive and stuff like that. But yeah, I just don't know. Have you heard of any games for that thing? Have they announced anything at all? Is it just like are you buying a bread box? What can it actually do?
So yeah, one of the things that we've been covering here is that, all of these games are getting delayed. I think right now the only game that's at launch is going to be Miles Morales, and then maybe a bunch of other side things.
A remake. That's an expansion pack.
Yeah, it's like a
That's a $30 expansion pack. That's Brood War, baby.
Yeah, it's
Which, I mean,
weird. We
hey,
still
Brood
don't
War was
really
great.
know what it is.
Brood War was pretty legit. So
But there's like no games coming out, and we know that now, thanks to Ubisoft, Ubiquitous Software, they had something for the new Call of Duty that was coming out. Was that right? Or Charlie, what was this? What was the context of this Ubisoft thing?
I don't know, to be honest.
Oh,
I think it was for like a Tom Clancy or something.
Yeah.
The Division, maybe.
Yeah, it was a Ubisoft
But-
support page. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just says.
And
No, go ahead, Charlie.
no, you can go ahead.
It says backwards compatibility will be available for supported PlayStation 4 titles, but will not be possible for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, or PlayStation 1 games. That sucks. And I understand the PlayStation 3 had that like cell structure or whatever in it, but if you're going to sit here and tell me that the PS5 is not powerful enough to run some sort of PlayStation 2 emulation, then what's that, Billy?
I don't know if it is. Maybe it could probably do PlayStation 1. I got a Raspberry Pi 4, and that little son of a bitch can do PlayStation 1, but that's about it.
I mean, yeah, even PlayStation 2, there's certain tricky aspects to some of the engines in that. Like even Steven, I was playing that Devil May Cry 5 or Devil May Cry 3 that you got me, and like on the Switch, Dante's hair's not right because there was a certain way that the PlayStation 2 rendered out that texture that they're not able to emulate or is not one-to-one with other consoles. So, there's
I think PS2 was really good at like transparency
Yeah.
effects, and that was an issue with like the Zone of the Enders HD collection. Was a lot of the transparency effects in Zone of the Enders 1 and 2, they had to just drop it because it was too hard to like recreate it. Of course, that port was a mess. It was that HD version was a complete disaster. They had to totally remake it, and they did, and they released it for free, which is pretty slick. But
yeah. There's a whole list of games that seemed like they've had issues with PS2 emulation, like Shadow of the Colossus. That was a tough one, or like the Silent Hill collection. Although that may have had other reasons why it had a lot of problems. But it's I can see why the emulation might be tricky, but it should be able to handle like PS1 games. That they could do something maybe to get that going. I mean, they had the PS3 with that little component in there that was able to play PS2 games, I think, for a while. So I don't know.
And every PS3 can play PS1 games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that a fact? I actually didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, even like the Slim that loses the PS2 backwards compatibility.
And the PlayStation 3, they had released a whole bunch of PS2 games digitally on PS3 that you can play. Like that's how I recently played through Katamari Damacy. So it's
they did that for PS4 as well. It's just
but not that many
people
right?
bought them. Yeah. And the reality is, it's more profitable for them to just remake it or remaster it and sell it that way instead of doing a emulation port and trying to get as many games as possible.
I mean,
if they emulate it and they give some new feature in the remake, I am down for that. Like the HD or the what you call it, this Devil May Cry 3 special edition for the Switch. They introduced style switching. That is so crazy. I'm totally down to buy Devil May Cry as many times as I need to get all the game I can in there. So I'm totally fine with that. Or like Devil May Cry 4 special edition with Virgil in there. So, if they do the HD remix with the additional features, I'm down. But yeah, it's like it's a tough one. It's a tougher one if they don't add anything at all.
My big thing has always been the only way to play Metal Gear Solid 3 right now is either on my PS2 or my PS3 because I don't have Xbox. And I don't trust Konami, to even put this game out again. I certainly don't trust them to put out an improved version of that game where improved actually means improved. Mm-hmm. And so I'm stuck. If I want to play what is my favorite game of all time, I'm not doing justice to this game because I have to pull my PS3 out of the bedroom, put it out here, and play it. And I don't want to do that. I just want to play it on whatever new console's out. So it's super annoying for me. And I'm like a single use case here. I really only care about the Metal Gear Solid games, about being able to replay those. But, those games are stuck on PS3. The only one you can play on your PS4 is Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah. And that's a real shame. I've gotten a new perspective recently. I'm not sure if it's lowering expectations, but I've taken up board games recently, and board games are fantastic. I can go on later about how great board games are, but there is the pattern in there is that because they're harder to produce, it's very real that sometimes if you don't get a game, you're just not going to be able to play it, or you are going to be paying more just because it is harder to make all these cardboard, or all the molds are not available anymore. So I've gotten an appreciation for that kind of, like, if it's a little bit more of a niche sort of request, that it's just not available, and the fact that it's possible to play, I'm more fine with that, especially also since play a lot of Third Strike, and the best way to play that is going to be with a CRT, which you got to lug around. So I guess I'm willing to jump over those hoops to still play the game. It doesn't bother me personally as much, but knowing that it could be possible to just have all these fantastic games on the newest console, a one-stop shop, I understand why that could be annoying.
Yeah, like I said, I understand PS3 emulation or however they need to do it. That's going to be tough, but I don't believe that this 4K 60 frames per second ray tracing machine can't emulate PS2 games. And if there's anyone who's going to be able to figure out how to get that emulation perfect, it would be Sony. But whatever, it's fine. I'm not getting a PS5, not for a long time. I need to qualify that because I will get one at some point, and I don't want my feet to be held to the fire for buying one.
Yeah, I mean, let's go down. I mean, who's going to get a PS5 here? We already got Kenny. He ain't going to get one, at least for now, being the initial adopter. What about you, Charlie, because you're showing up first on the list?
Yeah, always first on the list. I'm probably gonna... Well, it depends. I still don't know what the price is or when it's coming out, so at best I can say maybe. But probably.
What's your price threshold? What? So, like, let's say
I'm not hurting for money right now, so it's a little less of a issue for me. But I'd say probably 600 is the most I'd pay for this.
$599 US. You heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it.
For the memes. Just buying it for the memes.
And
That's
Billy.
a good reason.
Professional PS5 to come out. The one that can hold down a job and take care of its family. That's the one I want. It'll support me. I'm going to be the stay-at-home husband, and the PS5 is going to support me. That's my goal.
Yeah, man. Just got to get that apron. The PS5 comes home with its little hat and its briefcase.
And it's gonna... for the PS5. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Well, as we've established,
I can not wear pants and just wear the apron. If that's what the PS5 is into, hey man, I'm cool. It's gonna take care of me. It's the least I can do, right?
what's going to happen with Billy is that he's going to say, I don't want a PS5, and then one day it's going to show, we're going to be like, oh, what have you been playing? And he'll be like, oh, I've been playing this PS5 exclusive. And we're going to, you have a PS5? He'll be like, yeah, I got one like 2 weeks ago. Zero fanfare, and that's what will happen with Billy.
Like, I have 6 of them.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Who doesn't have a PS5?
Turns out you can daisy chain them, and they perform better.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, Billy's going to be like, yeah, I got on the super secret list you guys were just talking about. I mean, it ain't no thing. I'm just in there. I'm actually a Sony Power user.
They gave me one, actually. Because they knew I'd be such a good shill.
Good ambassador.
I don't know why.
That's the terminology, the corporate terminology. You're an ambassador, Billy. Brand ambassador.
Thrall. I like thrall. It implies a different level than shill. It implies that you're just totally indebted to whoever you're shilling for. Corporate thrall.
Well, hey, speaking of corporate things, Sony had a corporate report come out. And Charlie, you want to talk to this a little bit?
Yeah, it was just really saying, mostly on the business side, but they mentioned a few things like they're interested in bringing on more PC ports for their games. Not really specific, but they're going to do that more. And also invest in more VR, which didn't seem like they were going to do. They haven't talked about that at all for PS5, but that's good to know as someone who likes VR and has a PSVR.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really interested to see where VR can go next. Like what nice Devil May Cry sounds, Steven, I assume.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Let me turn that down.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but you know, I want VR. I want to live in that ecosystem, but I don't want to set up like Charlie, like what you've got with the VR things all over my living room. So that if Sony can figure out a way, and I assume that they would because of the market that they're in, if Sony can figure out a way that I can get a much better VR experience, but without having to go through all the trouble that is involved in a Vive setup.
Yeah.
I mean, you could already do that with the current one. It's just a camera on your TV and your
Yeah.
headset.
Or you could get Inside Out, like a Windows mixed reality, where it uses the monitor as the orientation point, and your controllers have lights and probably a gyrometer, and that's how it keeps track of everything.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm glad Sony is there for the casual market of as casual as something as hardcore as VR is can get. I'm glad that Sony is still there, kind of pushing that forward with the average consumer in mind.
Yeah, looks like like a lot of things. There's different companies that focus on different segments that they're kind of value. Like Sony is very it's got a big brand name. Lots of people know them, so might as well cater to people who have a lower budget in mind, but still want a pretty good amount of quality. And then you got like Oculus and stuff and the real fancy schmancy kind of VR sets. But yeah, I think VR in general has kind of like other hurdles to overcome, like just that they're pretty big and bulky, and you just get tired playing them. It's a lot of like, if you think about it, you have a phone, you could put on this giant thing on your head for like an hour at a time and get tired, or you play it on the phone. So it's that the barrier to entry is actually, I think, higher than it probably can be in the future, or rather than it would be in the future. I think they can do some things to make it a little bit easier to use.
I think Oculus is the real casual winner. Don't they have stuff that runs off of the cell phone, Charlie? And remember when Blizzard?
Oh, Tencent, right?
Well, remember, I mean, there's that. Remember when Blizzard banned the guy for saying a pro Hong Kong democracy thing in a Hearthstone interview?
Oh yeah.
Because the Chinese put pressure on him. Because yeah, it's that. It's just more of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's just a real shame. They just don't know that's a bad idea for them to do. That's bad for themselves to do that kind of thing.
But they get short-term monetary gain, and that's and it makes numbers go up, which is what the investors like. And so that's their only obligation is to make the investors more money. As a corporation, their only moral and ethical obligation is to make their investors more dollary dues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they are doing the right thing as a corporation by shilling for the Chinese.
Yeah, but I think it's deeper than that. They do have that obligation, but it's more that they should be valuing the fact that this is a tragedy that happened. So they're evading, and that's not good for them. That isn't in the investors' interest ultimately. But the investors need to realize that. So
yeah, the investors have to start yelling at the board to knock this crap off. But most of the investors don't care. They just want to see number go up, number bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they need to realize that it's really in their self-interest to not take it out. That the money is one thing, but there's other things they need to value for themselves, like the fact that they should be able to show that video at all. They need to value that more. They need to value the fact that they are able to even do that. And unfortunately, they don't. So that's a bad move, I think.
Let's pause right here. Something's going on with the stream. Okay, so I think we're back in business. So did we finish talking about Tiananmen Square or what?
I don't think we did.
Okay. But yeah, the moral of the story is that, Blizzard is tied to Chinese companies, or Billy, what were you saying? Sorry, I was like really in the zone trying to figure out why the hell the stream wasn't working right.
Blizzard is tied to Chinese companies, which means they're tied to the CCP,
Yeah.
the Chinese Communist Party.
So.
Yeah.
And so they're going to do what they want to do in order to make more money for their investors.
Yeah. And the interesting thing there, while they're making more money, they're not actually doing what's good for them. because they should be valuing the fact that they should be able to show Tiananmen Square without fear of having to take it down, or that they'll face some sort of, you know, repercussions from the Chinese government for doing so. So it's they're not doing what's good for them in the long run, which is what really matters.
Yeah.
So,
and particularly the optics of it are not good either. Just like as an American looking at what's happening here.
yeah, they're not doing what's good for them in the short or the long run, period. So
You could just paint anyone who says it's a bad thing as a xenophobe and like leave it as that at that, because I mean everyone's beholden to China and all their Chinese funbucks.
not me.
So I mean we're just, well, yeah.
All right, so
Well,
Super
the
Mario
majority of
35th
people-
Anniversary Direct. All right.
The majority of companies, at least.
I know, we're done talking about that, Billy. So
Okay.
the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Direct kind of dropped out of nowhere on Thursday. There was some kind of talk that it was coming, but you know, these insider sources who know about Nintendo stuff, they're always kind of they're wrong a lot with Nintendo, because Nintendo's been pushing stuff back because of all the coronavirus and whatnot, and so a lot of predictions have been off. But we finally got that sweet Super Mario 35th Anniversary Direct. Fantastic. Did you guys watch this?
Oh man, I didn't watch the whole thing, but this is the one where they got Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy all in the same thing.
All three.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Man.
you love to see it.
I don't like Mario, so I didn't watch it. Also, I was at work, and I don't care.
I was.
I would say I'm
Put
pretty
those three
disappointed
things in
in
a
that port,
different-
actually,
Oh, is that a fact, Charlie? Why is that?
because it's just a port. It's like the most minimal amount of work they could have done,
Hmm.
you know?
$60
When you
and
see,
later.
like, yeah, when you see Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 coming out for the PS4 at the same time as this is announced, or pretty much any of Activision's remasters, or like Resident Evil 2 that came out last year, just up-resing Mario 64 and throwing it out there is kind of, they're just looking for money is what I'm seeing. And I don't really have any reason to buy this other than my Wii fried up and I don't have another way to play Galaxy, so maybe I'll get it.
I have to
Yeah.
admit, I have never pre-ordered something so fast in my life as this Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Because, Charlie, you know, I'm hearing a lot of what you're saying about it just being a port and whatnot, and I kind of disagree, because there is obviously been texture work done to Super Mario 64. The textures on Mario are different. I'm sure they're different on a lot of different things in there. Yeah, the models are all the same. And I think that's okay, because Super Mario 64's models are so, to me, charming and nostalgic that I have seen that, like, the full... there's a fan project going on right now where they are replacing all of the graphics in the game to make it look more like the advertisement for Super Mario 64 and the models that are like on the game cartridges and whatnot. And it's cool, but to me, looking at that, that's not Super Mario 64, Charlie, right? In the same way that when I was playing Super Mario All-Stars on my stream, twitch.tv/DetectiveX last night, you know, you were saying that Super Mario All-Stars, those remakes, those aren't what those games look like to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same for Mario 64. I'll
Yeah.
play it as a 64 game. They just need to put it up on the eShop and not bundle it and charge $60.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing not Super Mario 64 because I just beat that with a personal PB, but I really want to play Sunshine. I've played a significant amount of it, like back in high school, but I haven't ever touched it since, not via like emulator or anything. I'm interested to see how it works, what they will have hopefully had to have done to the controls to make up for it not being on a GameCube controller. Because,
but Switch has a GameCube controller.
That's the thing, yeah. So
It's a
will that be an
Smash.
option? I'm very interested.
Their website said it wasn't.
No. Well, So technically, you can play any game with the GameCube controller. You have to map it.
It doesn't
and
have
then-
full support because
Yeah.
you don't have the same amount of buttons.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what they've done to that, and then with Super Mario Galaxy being able to play that on a real controller, not having to use Wiimotes, or I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, I
I mean,
wonder.
they still require motion controls, so
Yeah.
you're basically using a Wiimote.
But
What use the Joy-Cons, man?
what does this
Yeah.
do for Switch Lite owners?
You have to buy separate Joy-Cons
So
if you want to
Gotta
use
check
it on
that
your
Switch.
TV.
sounds so head ass to me that surely Nintendo has done something that they haven't talked about yet to these titles.
If you're in handheld, you can use the touchscreen for waggle control. But that means you got to take your hand off some button and touch screen instead. So that's why I don't think a lot of thought was put into these, or effort was put into these ports. It's really like the most minimal thing they could have done.
So that's interesting.
I like all these games. It's just they're charging too much for the effort they put in.
It's interesting that you say that, because to me it seems pretty obvious that the coronavirus pandemic has thrown a wrench into Nintendo's plans for this year. Really, the only thing they've got coming out is Pikmin 3, I think, but there doesn't seem to be much fanfare for that on Nintendo's end. And then Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which comes out in less than 2 weeks now, which is freaking crazy. But do you think, and that, we're just postulating at this point, do you think that Super Mario 3D All-Stars, there was being more work put into it initially?
No.
Why not, Billy?
Because why put an effort when you can put in no effort and have people jumping over themselves to buy a game?
But there has been effort put into. We look at Super Mario 64. There's been texture work.
They put in a minimal. Okay, they put in the minimal amount of effort. Why should they spend any more money and time and effort into making a different product when they know they can release what they're releasing, and people are going to buy it? People are going to be jumping over themselves.
It's true. I did.
Punching their friends, stabbing their family members in order to pre-order this game.
How did you know I did that?
Buy it fast. Drop kicking their dog because it's in the way of, you slapping on the keyboard to buy the byproduct. Why should they put in any effort? They know people are going to do it. Mario fans love Mario, and they're going to buy Mario. And so it's like, it'd be stupid of them to try harder when they don't have to. And I think they know their fan base, and they know what they can get away with. And that's what they did. And they were right. They were completely right.
Because how much could you buy Mario Galaxy for the Wii nowadays? I wouldn't be surprised if it's still like $50 or something along those lines. That Nintendo games, just to keep their value for a long ass time, and so they probably look at that and be like, well, all right, if that's what people want, then we'll do that.
I always think it's funny when people get mad at Nintendo for not dropping the price of their games.
I ain't getting mad.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna buy them.
I know. I think it's funny when people get mad because it's like Nintendo believes that their products are evergreen for the life of their console. For the most part, there's obviously like player's choice things that they do from time to time and on certain titles. But like Zelda is still full price if you want to buy it. And Breath of the Wild, that is. And it's been over 3.5 years since that game came out now. Any other thing, they're giving this stuff away. They're paying you to take Assassin's Creed Origins off their hands, So I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, I'm getting Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Fair enough. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. It would be fun to play through those games again. I haven't played them for a while. Sunshine, especially, would be really fun. Just because watching all those streams of like the speed runs, that's what really made that game, took it to the next level for me. They were fun before, but now they're like, whoa, you could go real deep on this, and that makes it more appealing. But I don't know if I'm gonna get it either. I do like Mario. It is not my favorite game. I wouldn't pay full price for a Mario game like I would for a Zelda game. I would still pay a lot for the right Zelda games. I ain't paying for Skyward Sword unless they do some crazy shit to it. I don't like that game very much. If the game is right, I'll pay for it. I'll pay full price for Devil May Cry 3 still. I ain't ashamed that I love that game. I want them to have my money. Have my money. I'll make them more Devil May Cry. That's because it's such a good game, and they should be proud of that. But
Now,
yeah, it's just depends on what games you like. What you're willing to shell out for.
does your stance change knowing that
the Enders 2 twice.
Nintendo will stop selling this Super Mario 3D All-Stars at the end of March next year?
Limited
Both
release?
physically and digitally. You will not be able to
Well,
get it.
Then they can sell the emulated versions for $30 each.
That's what I'm thinking will happen, but we don't know that for sure.
They haven't had a history of that though. Like they've done,
But they've never
Mario
done this
All-Stars
before.
on the Wii, and they've done Kirby Collection on the Wii. Those
Mhm.
were all limited releases that they never put out again.
But they didn't have the digital. They weren't really so much dipping their
We didn't
toes in the
have a
digital.
marketplace for digital versions.
Yeah.
Then.
So we're in uncharted
I don't see
territory
that
right now.
happening. Yeah, I don't see that happening.
It's hard to say. If I like Mario more, if they were doing like a Zelda collection, then it really would impact my decision because I'm trying to get that just to, I love Zelda games and just having it be a collector's piece. That's the thing. It just for me, it's just I don't enjoy Mario as much. It
Well,
is a balance
Steven,
though. What's that?
we can jump around in the news here, but there was a trademark filed recently for very similar to what they showed off in this Mario Direct for Zelda.
Oh,
So, potentially next year, at the 35th anniversary of Zelda, we might be seeing something similar.
oh God. Oh Jesus. What
Zeldas
is
are
it gonna
good
be?
games, so that's going to be the difference there. Zeldas are good games. Unlike
And
Mario.
Steven, you
Mario
know
are
about
bad.
the Skyward Sword listing that went up, right?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I mentioned Skyward Sword, that they may be doing a remake.
Mm-hmm.
If any Zelda game needs some sort of something done to it, that's the one, man. That game has problems. I ain't trying to hold up Wii Remote like some kind of dildo, to quote our Lord and Master Chad Warden. I ain't trying to do that. That game has big pacing problems. It had good principles in the sense that it wanted to have it be kind of more detailed but less environments. I'm down with that, but the implementation, they just fucking dropped their balls, and it's just didn't work well. So I'd be down to see kind of like what they did with Wind Waker HD. If they gave it the Wind Waker HD treatment, I might be on board.
Remember when Wind Waker on the GameCube was coming out, and if you bought Wind Waker, they gave you all of the old Zelda games for free?
Oh,
Mhm.
just two.
I do remember that. I still had that. That is one of my favorite game possessions. Oh, that's one of them. Master Quest.
Yeah.
Master Quest. Oh, I have that one. That shit's gold, man. That is so good. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. What isn't there to like there? And it's got a bunch of trailers, I think, that one, for like Wario Land or like some
Well,
other shit.
Steven, what you're thinking of is the one that you could only get through Nintendo Power, where you had to get all the codes, and people would go to GameStop and take the codes out of the games, and
Oh yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's right.
So that's what you're thinking of. This one was just Ocarina of Time and Master Quest,
Mm.
and it was
Yeah,
the first
that
time I
was-
ever pre-ordered a game.
Oh, well, you chose well. You chose well, Kenneth. That's a good one.
I wish
So,
I had stopped.
But yeah, they did offer those games are just free for the diehard fans. You're pre-ordering. Here's this thing, and yeah. So the fact that it is limited does make it more valuable to me. But yeah, it's for the right game. I'll do that. I'll buy it straight away, sight unseen, or well, maybe not sight unseen, but at least get the big old pre-order that doesn't have too much effort put into it. But yeah, not Mario, not for me. Zelda, Devil May Cry, sure, but yeah.
See, now knowing what this release of Mario is looking like, I'm kind of worried now that Skyward Sword is still going to force bullshit motion controls, which was my problem with the game.
And it's such a shame because
I hope
that
the Wii
whole
Remote-
deal is cool.
I hope the Wii Remote is better than the the
Joy-Cons,
better
yeah.
than the Wiimote.
Yeah, because my
I
Wiimote
don't
was
think
constantly.
it has enough accuracy to do that.
Charlie, what are you talking about? I can feel ice cubes in a Joy-Con. You're telling me this thing is not going to be better than a Wiimote?
No, the Wiimote had a sensor bar to pair to and sync with. The Joy-Con, you're just having something floating in free air. It jiggles around constantly. That's why there's not a lot of motion control games for the Switch.
Although the Joy-Con on the bottom, I think on the right-hand side, looks like a little IR sort of deal.
Yeah, it's got an
Sun.
IR sensor to
It
measure
says-
distance with. Yeah.
It's only used in one WarioWare game where you're eating the Joy-Con like a cake. A piece
False.
of cake.
It is used in Ring Fit Adventure to take your heartbeat.
Yeah, which is fine because you're putting your thumb right up against the
Yeah.
sensor.
Yeah, it's that, or it's detecting your chomping teeth, eating the Joy-Con as if it was a piece of pastry.
Wow.
And those are the only two uses for it.
Ain't that a shame? I was really hoping for what would be the magnum opus on the Switch, Trauma Center, Third Blood, or something. Oh, that was so good. Trauma Center. Could you imagine how good that would be on a current
I could.
gen? Ah, so amazing. That's beautiful.
Player mode with local co-op, and you control both Joy-Cons.
mm.
Well, Nintendo is going to Nintendo. And it's always... What?
I'll be right back.
Okay. It's always one step forward. Oh, now it's all mixed up. Always one step forward, two steps back, But Nintendo's finally letting you cancel your pre-orders. Billy, I know this really affects you, all of your Nintendo eShop pre-orders you have.
We just skipping over the rest of the Direct.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Games that looked actually more interesting.
Sure.
than
No, let's
the
go back
3D
to it. Let's go
All-Stars.
back to it. I thought, because we'd already... Yeah, let's go back to it.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm way more interested in that Mario Battle Royale game.
Yeah,
they
it
were
does look
showing
cool.
off.
Tell us about it, Charlie. I actually did not check it out. Maybe you could recap it.
Okay, so basically, you played Tetris 99, right?
Sure have.
It's basically that, but Super Mario Bros. You're playing against 34 other people. The more you kill enemies, you're building up your timer so it's not counting down. And you'll get coins that will let you buy random power-ups that will either attack the other people and send enemies at their screen or give you a star to make it easier for you.
Well, I thought it was...
It's all about just lasting as long as you can through a classic Super Mario Bros. Style.
I thought it was that every time you killed an enemy, it sent it to another opponent's screen. Or something like that.
I guess we don't have enough info on that yet. I saw with each enemy they were killing, their time was going up. That might also send it to an opponent's. I don't know.
It does look cool,
Yeah,
though.
but-
I really want to play this.
That,
It looked-
that does sound... Oh, go
It looked
for it.
really good.
Yeah, it sure does. It kind of reminds you of like a Cruising USA, but instead of passing checkpoints, you're slamming on Goombas. And that sounds pretty great. Capturing that arcade style, but with online competitive play, I think that's pretty dope, man. I got to give it up. Is that how much is that going to be? Is it going to be full price? Is that going to be like Tetris 99, where it's available just for Nintendo Switch Online or
It's
something
like
that?
Tetris. Yeah, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online account, it's free. The
Damn.
problem, though, is it's just like the 3D All-Stars, where you can only play this until the end of March, apparently.
Buy this or play this?
Play it at all. I don't get what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense, but
Oh,
they supported Tetris 99. They're still supporting Tetris 99. They have events every so often, so I don't see why they couldn't do that for this. Maybe they just don't have the devs available for it. I don't know.
they don't have the gigabytes available, man. Those Mario pixels take up a lot of space.
They
Oh,
do.
this fucking USB stick they're running their server on. Shit.
I'm really excited that a lot of more people are going to get to play Super Mario 3D World, which is one of my favorite Mario titles. Trapped on the Wii U.
Mm.
But it is finally coming out for Switch. There is still a bunch of Wii U games that need to be taken away from that console. Xenoblade Chronicles X, which was kind of shitty. But people love for some reason, I guess, because it has giant robots, which you don't get until 30 hours into the game.
Who's got that kind of time? God damn.
I don't know. Well, see, I got to that point. I got the robot, and then the game has like a bunch of BS RNG for like collecting items that you have to get before you can do the next mission. Dude, that game, hey, that game's got a lot of good to it, but that game got a lot of shit. But there's that, and then there's Kirby, like Canvas Course or whatever it was on the Wii U. There's Nintendo Land, which I don't know how they do that. There's a lot left that they need to bring over, but Super Mario 3D World to me is like the last really major title that needed to be brought over from the Wii U. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, because didn't they bring over Captain Toad too? Isn't that on Switch now? As
yeah,
well?
that was one of the first ones. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm really glad they went to that treatment. They realized that, listen, the Wii U was a bag of hot trash, and we got to save these games. We still got some gems in there.
I don't know.
It's the biggest bag of trash. I hate that thing. I wish I didn't transfer over my Wii memory data to it.
Did give us the Wii U Pro Controller, which I think is better than the Switch Pro Controller, but
I suppose so. But it just, man, it's crazy. Now I'm glad Pokken right now is like, I love that game. It was on the Wii U. And now it's on the Switch, and it's just great. They took all over like pretty much all the great games, like you said, Kenny. They got Splatoon, they got Pokemon, like we said. They got Captain Toad, Bayonetta 1 and 2. So yeah, I think they had a good strat. They knew what was up. So.
And they're adding some new stuff for the Switch version, which is exciting. I'm not gonna get this game right away. When Super Mario 3D World came out at the time, I think Charlie and Billy and then I think it was you guys played with me, and I think Cameron played as well, and we ran through the whole game in like 2 nights. So
sounds right.
There was a period of time I would still go back and revisit that game. It's still a lot of fun, but I'm in no hurry to replay that game right now. And as far as things stand now, there's no time restrictions on it, so I can wait. And then, Super Mario All-Stars is now out on the Switch, on SNES Online, which is huge for me. I played some of the Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. Last night. Did you guys know that if you go to the Japanese eShop on your Switch, and you can download the Famicom and Super Famicom online apps, and then play them with your US eShop account?
What? Is that a thing? Do they have different games on there?
Yep.
What are they? What's
there
the
are different games, and everything is the Japanese version.
Whoa,
so,
man. That's pretty dope.
So, now you know.
I installed it to get the Persona Dynasty Warrior game, and now all of my Switch news is in Japanese.
Yeah, it happens to me too, but it's worth it.
No, there's no fix, except if you delete the account.
I highly recommend setting up a Japanese eShop account, because then you also have access to all the Japanese demos, so you can check those out.
I also got the Hatsune Miku.
Yeah, I have that demo too.
I was going to do that for a bit, and I never did anything with it. I downloaded the English version too.
I think every Japanese demo that looked like even remotely interesting, I just went ahead and downloaded, because why not? It's free. But yeah, you can play Japanese, all the Japanese Nintendo games that are out. It's pretty cool. Of course, there's not a whole lot of text in Super Mario Bros. 1, so I was able to make it through okay. And my very limited Japanese got me through, so. And then Nintendo, Nintendo's masters of thinking outside the box, man. They figured everyone's in quarantine, in their home. What do they need? But they need to make their home be a Mario Kart course. Steven, have you seen this?
I can't say that I have. Can you run it by for me, please?
So Nintendo is selling what's called Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, where they're selling you, it's a little like go-kart of Mario that has a camera on top, and it will connect to your Switch. And then when you're playing your Switch, you see Mario in front of you, and then you're like looking through Mario's point of view. And then you take these like arches and you set them up around your living room, and then the game will, I don't know if you have to build the map out or if it auto builds the map out for you, and then you can just play the game. And so you get hit with an item, your cart will stop in real life. If you run into something in real life with your cart, you'll stop in the game. So imagine like you got dogs running around, like real threats. But this is not for me, right? As cool as I think this is, but this is just genius for kids, and especially, I think Nintendo's right to release this right now, considering everyone's stuck at home anyways, for the most part. It's just really clever on Nintendo's part, dude. I think.
That's fucking dope. I never even thought about doing something like that. So they actually have like a camera on the actual go-kart. Does it have Mario on it, sitting go-kart style?
Yep.
Man, that is so crazy. That's fucking great.
And
all sorts of courses. I wonder if it takes into account like elevation, like within your house, or if it's straight up just like a flat track that you can do, or if you can do like, multiple levels and things wrapping around.
What they showed was just flat, but we'll see.
They had a track that did like a loop-de-loop at one point, so I think elevation's just digitally determined.
Damn, that's fucking dope. I like that. I'll be tempted to get that for sure, because any sort of thing like that, it sounds like a lot of fun. Kind of bringing in, and again, they are thinking out of the box, like you said. They're doing some crazy shit. I never even heard of that before.
And they're also selling Luigi, so you can do multiplayer. Yeah, so it's really cool. Was it Phil Spencer who said the industry needs Nintendo? Or it was some higher up at one of the big, either the big two or another big developer who said the industry needs Nintendo, and I agree, because it's stuff like this, it's stuff like the Switch that Sony and Microsoft aren't going to do that, but Nintendo doing what they do, other companies can learn from that and implement ideas.
Yeah, no, Nintendo's definitely got their own special flavor of innovation. Because trends come and go. There are companies that have been innovative before, have had that entrepreneurial spirit. Like, WoW was huge for a while, right? No one thought anyone was going to be able to take it down. But then Fortnite comes around, and that's the newest big thing. But it's still, in a way, kind of conventional. It's a first-person shooter sort of deal. Not having that kind of toy mentality that Nintendo has, where they're very into, we need a physical thing. We're trying to get physical things as much as possible around and associated to our games. That's why the Wii controller is a thing, because they're trying to be like, we're trying to get you to move or do something, or like Rob, even back in the NES days. This is just an additional. This seems like the next step in the way their paradigm and how they think of what games should be, their vision for what they want to play. So I think that's cool. I think we do need Nintendo. They've got their own flavor to it that's very hard to replicate. That other companies have tried, and they can't do it as well sometimes. So thank you, Nintendo, for doing all that. That's really dope.
Yeah, thank you, Nintendo.
Shit.
Yeah, this is something I would have loved as a kid for sure. I do have to wonder though how fast the motor actually goes, because they showed it off just like in the living room. So either the track time is going to be really short, or this thing is going to be going pretty slow, actually.
And you'll probably be going even slower if you're on carpet.
Oh man, just be careful not to do your blue spark drift on the carpet. That shit will catch on fire. And then what will you tell your mom? I mean, it's crazy. That shit, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's just so cool. I love them for stuff like that. And a lot of people love Nintendo because now they can cancel their pre-orders. Yeah. Which is for something.
Is that why they love Nintendo?
No, I don't know. Yeah, but you couldn't do that before, which is weird. I'm in a situation right now where I'm having to order figures from this premium Bandai website, and they don't let you cancel pre-orders, which is like, you haven't made the toy yet, so there's no cost to you. Anyways, so let people cancel their pre-orders.
Yeah, I think Nintendo probably to some degree is feeling the pressure to kind of update. That's the way Nintendo seems to go, man. They'll probably update, but it will take them a long time. Eventually, they do feel the pressure, and they'll do some things. They're innovative in some ways, but then they're really not in a lot of other ways. Kind of from that angle of it, they have their focus, and that's on making the games themselves and like in terms of some of these other marketing things, they got some work to do. Or canceling pre-orders. You probably got Miyamoto back there being like, cancel pre-order. How is that done?
What's a pre-order?
What's pre-order? So
yeah, I brought this story up because it's actually kind of a bad look for Nintendo, because you can only cancel if it's 7 days or more before the game comes out. So basically, not enough time for you to see a review or get any real valid information to decide whether it's worth keeping your pre-order or not.
But
Games.
so we're in this weird situation with Mario, right? Where the game's only available for a short period of time, but why do you necessarily need to pre-order a Switch game if it's in the eShop? So I guess I just don't understand, why would someone be doing this? What's that, Billy? You said something?
And usually a pre-order, the reason you'd want to do it is because you could get like day pre-downloading or something like that, so you could just have all the data downloaded and ready to go. But I don't know otherwise.
I mean, some retailers used to give you a discount if you pre-ordered a game, or
But digitally?
there's pre-order bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
Or
yeah,
but a
with
lot of
digital,
those pre-order bonuses are like day one bonuses too. Or if you're buying it from a third party, if you know where to look, you can get your pre-order bonuses and buy your game the day it comes out or the day after. If you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, digital pre-orders are a harder sell. At least if you're buying it at some place like GameStop, you're there, they can hand you the thing, like the pre-order bonus, like little figure or some sort of poster or something. But with digital, unless they're giving you in-game content, I don't see any reason why are you giving them interest-free loan for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do that. So yeah, I'm on board with you, Kenny. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense.
Like, I pre-ordered the Gundam Maxi Boost on digitally, but that's because it gave you an extra day or 2 days of playing the open beta for the month and a half or 2 months before the game came out.
Yeah, so there's a transaction that's happening there. You're gaining something
Yeah,
for that interest-free loan.
you get an extra suit in the game that
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still available if you buy the game now. It should be made available at some point, but there was a benefit to pre-ordering that game. And like, I knew I was going to purchase it anyway, so like, sure,
Mhm.
whatever.
There's no way you weren't going to get that Gundam game.
Yeah. I'm a simp sucker
Hey,
idolizing mediocre Gundams.
It's no Simp
So
September,
I'm-
man.
Yeah.
Sim with a G.
No.
Gundam.
Gotcha.
I knew I was going to get the thing anyways, so it's just fuck it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to play XDL a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate thing. I mean, if you love Gundam so much, then you're gonna get it. Why beat around the bush? Just go for it. Ain't no problem with that. Just like Don't Make Cry, I'll pre-order Don't Make Cry all day. I don't give a hoot. I'll get it. And
Whatever it takes to show Capcom people want
oh,
Devil May Cry.
fucking please, I will throw my money at you. You've earned it. You've earned this money that I want to give you. Please let me play Devil May Cry. I want it. And then I'll have it, and then my life will be better, and your life will be better. And that's
And
good for everybody.
for most of like PC games, you can get 10-20% off the game price if you pre-order it. If not from Steam, from another online retailer. So there's if it's something you're going to get anyways, you might as well give them the money early. You save 20%, sure, whatever.
Yeah, and there might be cases like that on the Switch, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who all this is affected. I know there was a long time ago, man. There was a Kotaku article from someone who was trying to buy one game but ended up buying another game somehow because they were. I'm misremembering this article, but it was obviously their fault, and then Nintendo wouldn't let them fix the transaction or something, and I'm kind of like, Yeah, how did you bungle it that badly, though? Like, I kind of see where Nintendo's coming from. Like, your story sounds hella made up. Because I don't know how a human being could have done what you did unintentionally.
Really, really dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know about returning digital games for Nintendo, but I know for Sony and Microsoft, there are some sort of secret archaic rules that you have to follow. Like, you can only play the game for... Like, if you request the refund under 2 hours and you never launch the game and, you know, your last name contains these letters in it, then they can give you a refund this many times. It's you know, magic.
Gotta love the DMCA.
What?
Isn't this all because of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act of 2000?
No, that has to do with returning physical games.
But doesn't
If you-
just the idea carry over?
I don't think so.
No.
Um,
Or maybe they just
I
try to
don't
find
know.
parity with that?
I mean, it comes down to just their terms of use.
Yeah.
Like, the DMCA doesn't affect your relationship with Target that you bought the game from. Like, I mean, the DMCA doesn't affect your... And if DMCA only impacts your relationship with Target, hey, I bought this game, it's trash, I want to return it. Okay, well, you've opened it. And
Mhm.
because of this copyright law, you now have to exchange it for the same product or eat shit. Those are your two
Yeah.
options. You can exchange it for the same product on a different platform. If you know you bought a Blu-ray and you don't have a Blu-ray player, you can get a DVD copy. And they're
Man,
supposed
they
to
were
open
so
it up.
afraid of piracy back. I mean, they still are, but
But I mean, it's a legal issue. It's not like Target
Yeah.
or the store you're buying the thing from having a problem.
yeah, I know.
It's-
Yeah, I know. I just thought that maybe
They don't
that.
have a choice, really.
Yeah, I thought that maybe also
Um,
affected the online stores, but I guess not.
I don't know. It depends. I mean, it depends on the company's return policy, and a lot of times it is not clearly posted anywhere because they don't want people to know how to game the system. That's what they're terrified of. They're terrified of telling people what they can and cannot do because they think people are going to take advantage of it if they have that knowledge, and they're probably right. But
Leave it to
because there's a few
gamers.
because there's a few bad apples willing to, like, you know, try to game the system, it ruins it for the majority of people that just, they bought this game and it turns out to be trash. I don't want to play, you know, Black Tiger Legacy, or whatever the PlayStation game that they produce, which is just hot garbage.
Oh yeah, okay.
Black Tiger Legacy. That's cool. I never even heard of that one before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
it-
Jim
it's-
Sterling video about it, I think.
I don't know what it is. The game is, the title is something like that, and it is trash. It is bottom of the barrel Steam trash, but for some reason it's like was promoted on like official Sony, you know, outlets. And it's just like, yeah, you bought the game because you're a dummy, and it turns out to be trash garbage, and it's like, you don't know how to return it because you may have a limit on your account. You may, you played the game for 2.5 hours before you realize, oh wait, this is really shit. Or you start up the game and you get like 4 trophies and, yeah, oh sorry, you played the game too much, man. Eat the $60. Eat the loss. We can't give you a return on a game that you bought.
I'm just not sure who. It's like games are bad sometimes, and it's
Video
just
games are trash.
people got to learn their lesson at some point. With video games, you just need to do unless it's like Gundam, do a little bit of research as to maybe
Oh.
whether or not the game's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I got New Gundam Breaker, and I knew that game was bad,
Yeah,
but I got it anyways because I knew what I was getting myself into. Because
yeah.
it's like, well, it has a Gundam in it, and I want there to make more Gundam games, and maybe if I buy a Gundam game, they'll release more Gundam games. I don't know how logical that thought process is, but I did it, and the game is weird. You're a high school student, and you can romance your teacher. That's kind of weird, man. I just want to play with Gundams. Why is my teacher hitting on me? As a VTuber.
I'm trying to think of a game I would have bought without looking at
I'm
reviews
not making
first.
that up.
I'm sure you ain't. What are you saying, Kenny?
I'm trying to think of a game I would have bought without looking at reviews first. And what was my game that made me learn to start reading reviews first? And I don't know.
I know which one it was for me.
I bought games because the cover looked cool.
That's fair. Oh man, sometimes sometimes that works out. Sometimes it works out, but many times it doesn't. And one game where that happened to me was a little game on the GameCube called GoldenEye 007. And I thought it was, hey, GoldenEye? You mean like on the N64 with Oddjob where you crouch down and you're invincible because no one can shoot you? That game? And I bought it without reading a single review. It was between that and Metroid Prime 2. And I'm like, this cover has a guy with a golden eye on it, and I love GoldenEye, and so I bought it, and that is like one of the worst games I've ever played. It's just so disappointingly bad compared to even the N64 version, and so that was what made me realize like I should pay more attention to what I'm actually buying, and so it's that kind of deal. You have to learn not to get got for your own interest, and then the company that makes these trash games, I ain't gonna buy their game again. They've messed it up. They've messed up the whole thing, and so they ain't getting my money anymore. So
I thought you were going to talk about the Blob.
Oh god, oh god, I didn't like the Blob. I have to say it. I did not like it. It made me nauseous. It was boring. You just go around and you climb. Hey, here's a game where the whole point is that you're just gonna run on every surface possible. That's it. Just open up Mario 64 and have Mario run back and forth across every pixel in fucking the first land with bomb attack. Oh god, or over a mushroom castle or whatever.
I did that as a kid though. I would just run around the castle for like 3 hours.
You see, and with the right game, maybe it could be done. The Blob couldn't even handle. Mario had other shit going on and somehow made that fun. But the Blob, that was the focus. The whole point of the game was to run back and forth, and they didn't find a way to make it fun. It was just, what a disappointing piece of trash. I can't believe they made the Blob 2. That is one of the worst crimes of humanity that's ever been perpetrated. It's so bad. God.
And that they made a sequel, too.
Enough
people liked that game, purchased that game to warrant a sequel being made.
I feel bad for those people. They've made some bad choices, but that's their life that they're wasting, not mine.
Then the game got a re-release on PC, man. People out there are hungry for DeBlob.
Where the hell are all these DeBlob things hanging out? Oh my god. Next you're going to tell me there's DeBlobCon 2021 happening.
Well, they're going to have to delay it to 2022 because of the pandemic.
It's a digital convention next year, but
yeah.
Yes. You didn't know?
Oh god.
It's pretty cool. Really fun ball pits. You buy the premium pass, you get a ticket to hang out in the ball pit for an extra 20 minutes.
I thought they called them
it's legit. I gotta
blob
say.
pits.
It is balls. It's not like filled with slime. Mainly because like the cleanup would be too much. The risk of transmission.
Now, if you find slime in there, don't touch it.
Ooh. Yeah.
But now it's a digital ball pit.
Yeah.
You're still limited to 20 minutes with the extra premium pass, but yes, it is a digital ball pit.
I don't know how to transition to this next story.
I bought EOE, Eve of Extinction, or Eye of Extinction. I don't know. I don't have my glasses
I think.
on. I have never put that game in my PlayStation 2 or any console, but I thought the box looked cool.
Don't you use that as a coaster?
No.
What am I thinking
Eternal
of?
Darkness,
Eternal Darkness. Yeah.
And that game's not bad. It was just funny to use it as a coaster.
Yeah.
If I was going to use it, like I have Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. If I'm going to use a game as a coaster.
Oh my God, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance.
Or Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which I was hyped for some reason.
Is that the one where you could make Goku?
I think in Armageddon is when they start adding creative character.
Oh my god, that man! I got a Deadly Alliance story. Imagine this dichotomy of games that I bought when I bought Deadly Alliance. I had a gift card that I got for Christmas. This was back in like high school or something, and I went and I bought Deadly Alliance for the GameCube and Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes at the same time. And I didn't even go there for Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, hey, I want to get Mortal Kombat, man. It's got Reptile in there. This game will probably be great. And then I had some money left over, and I'm like, Metal Gear, I might have heard of that. I just picked it up. I didn't even know. And so it worked out that time for sure.
You really
100%.
were the catalyst for us getting into Metal Gear Solid.
Oh man, yeah, it happened just because
Yeah.
of that. Like, by chance, Metal Gear was next to Mortal Kombat. They both start with the M, and so I picked it up and I played it. I'm like, damn, there's something to this game. That's pretty good. And then
Like-
I let you guys borrow and stuff, and yeah.
I
remember I was at, I think, Sam Goody or FYE, in like probably Katie Mills Mall. And my brother was there. He had a gift card. And I was like, hey, you should get this Metal Gear game. I hear this series is legit. And he decided to get Baiten Kaitos for the GameCube instead, which apparently is rare and now worth money. So
Yeah,
I don't know
also
where that-
apparently a pretty good game. So
yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a trading card RPG.
I still regularly think about the first hour of the first time I ever played Metal Gear Solid. So like coming in from the water to like beating Ocelot. And the way I felt playing that game, I have never experienced since. Never experienced before. Just the way that like I felt like all my veins were going to explode. My blood pressure must have been through the roof. My first time with a stealth game. And just the absolute rush I got from it. And then just sold me on the rest of the series, man. It's just,
yeah.
God, so good.
Yeah, dude, that game is something special. Finally crafted. I know people like to hate on Twin Snakes, but it's a fantastic game. They had a lot of quality of life improvements, and I like the over the top cutscenes. But like, man, it really is the rush you're talking about. I experienced the same thing. And here's the thing. That was the game that I played right after I beat my favorite game of all time, Devil May Cry 3. And so my expectations were like through the roof of what a game should be. And I played Metal Gear Solid, and here's the thing too. I beat Devil May Cry on Dante Must Die, the hardest difficulty there is in the game. And then I'm like, man, I can handle anything from now on. I'm fucking games, whatever. Everything's made for babies. So I play this Metal Gear game, and I can't get to the damn elevator. I couldn't. I'm like, what is even going on? I beat Virgil, and he's fucking throwing summon swords at me. This guy's walking down the hallway, and I can't overcome this. What's going on? And so it really made me think about the games in a different way. Like, I have to really, really do something else for this new genre, which is just so impressive. The voice acting, the whole package, the music, the cinematic presentation.
It's so funny you talk about Devil May Cry, because I think at the time that you were into Devil May Cry 3 and starting to get into Metal Gear Solid, because that happened, you talked about this so much at that time. Snake and Dante are forever linked, like in my head. Like those two characters might as well be brothers or something. Like I even have like my Snake and Dante figures are up standing next to each other, you know, because like to me those two series are like at the same level.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I appreciate that, because like that's what it is, man. They came together at that point in history and in our lives, and they were to be such high caliber games. That's it really is amazing. Words fail me to just how great that is. I love those games so much.
The only time I ever skipped school to play a video game was Metal Gear Solid 3, because I was close to the end. The actual end, not the enemy, the end. And I wanted to spend the rest of the day beating it. And so I told my mom, I said, hey, I'm not going to school today. Oh, you're not feeling well? No, I want to beat Metal Gear Solid 3. Okay.
That wouldn't have flown.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
be able to do that.
I was a good kid, right? So, you know, I got a free pass every now and again.
Yeah, that's kind of thing you can build up once you build up your little reputation.
Yeah.
And you know, every once in a while you can let it slide. Yeah, I don't think I ever did that, but yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 would have been one. Because how are you gonna stop when you get to the end of that game? It's too much. It's ramping up to this climax, and like you can't get away from that. You gotta play it all the way through.
wonder if I could have gotten away with that. It never occurred to me, but I think as long as I like dropped my brother off at school early enough, I could have told my dad, "Hey, I'm not going to school."
See, I only ever did this once, though. So this wasn't a regular thing. It was this one time with this one game.
I probably could have pulled it off. Probably could have. It never. I was such a good boy. It just never even occurred to me. It's like I go to school. That's what I do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm of the
Whatever.
same line. Why would I not go into class? So
I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do. So I'm just gonna do it.
The furthest I ever rebelled was I stopped saying the pledge in like senior year.
Oh,
look
man.
at you go. What a bad boy. God damn.
You know. Still
Breaking
heart,
the
you know,
rules.
hand over my heart and all that, but I was not. I was like, no, man, I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
it. Yeah, look at
More-
me, so tough.
More power to you, Kenny. That's great. They can't make you say that shit. But anyway, Charlie, what was your? Would you think you would have been? Have you ever done that for a game before? Have you ever been a bad lad and skipped school to play some kind of game?
No, that like Bill, I don't think I ever even thought of doing that. Honestly,
Ugh, that's fair, man. That's fair. But man, I do kind of wish I did. Thinking about it, just one day would have been
Yeah.
all right. Just to get some more Devil May Cry 3 time in, or Metal Gear Solid time, it would have been all right.
Like
See-
I drove my brother to school, so I would have had to get up anyways, and driven to school. So I'm already there. I might as well just go for the rest of the day.
Nowadays, though, I regularly will take time off from work. If a game is coming out, I'll take the day off and play it. Like I did
need
that
to
with
take
Death
more time
Stranding.
off for work.
Yeah,
So-
I never do.
yeah, and yeah, same here. It's definitely something that I've noticed in school. You just can't do that. Period.
No.
You're
You're
not
so
allowed.
indoctrinated, you just don't even think that you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, there's definitely different reasons for why that kind of thing happens. But yeah, definitely during work, it's definitely healthy to occasionally go in and take a day off to play a game, to take some time for yourself a little bit more. So yeah, I think that's totally fine. And yeah, it's very easy when you're working to be like, I don't know if there are any kids watching, but yeah, just keep that in mind. It's important to work. Study, learn something useful and good that you enjoy. But yeah, sometimes when you're working, you do forget, and you gotta take a little break sometimes. That's important to do.
Well, speaking of taking a break, this is the only transition I can think of. Hey, if you're at WB Interactive Entertainment, you might be breathing a little easier because you're not being sold. So that's all there is about that. You're staying with WB, so you can get that Gotham Knights game out. That's coming out. It's it's Batman's dead, so it's Code Black. So you play as Nightwing, Red Hood, Robin, and Batgirl, and it's what I really want to. Do you have anything you want to talk about WB Interactive, Charlie?
I mean, it was AT&T that was going to sell them, not
Yeah.
WB.
Well, I mean WB, yeah,
That's it.
it's all Parenthood. I really want to talk about these new graphics cards that are coming out from NVIDIA because man, oh man. Listen. Ever since Billy helped me rebuild my computer, ever since we broke the rules of quarantine and he helped me rebuild my computer, I still don't have a new graphics card, right? And I'm so glad I don't because now they're cheaper than ever for the next wave of them. Did you guys watch any of the presentation about these?
I haven't had a chance to, but yeah, tell us
I
about it.
don't care.
Well, so here's the thing. We're entering into the 3000 models of the NVIDIA GeForce cards. And forgive me if my terminology about computer TurboTax Quicken terms is a little off. I'm just now getting turned up about graphics cards, okay? So we're in the 3000 series right now. We were in the 2000 series, and the top of the line of the 2000 series, if I'm not mistaken, was the 2080 Ti. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Which was an expensive card, like $1,500 or when it came out or something. Pretty pricey penny.
Like that.
The 3070, which is the lowest end model of these new cards, which is more powerful and faster than the 2080 Ti. It's only $500.
Man, that is fucking crazy. They must have figured some shit out to be able to make that cheaper. That's insane. Some nerd was really thinking hard about this, and it's working out. That's pretty great.
I watched some guy reacting to the stream of them announcing all this, and he's like, I feel scammed because I guess he just bought a 2080 Ti like a PC gamer he is, but their kind of flagship model that's going to come out is a 3080 Ti, which even then is $700. And then the ultimate like brick size thing, it's like, I think I saw a size comparison and it's almost as big as the Xbox Series X itself. That goes into, if Billy, I'll have to find you the picture, but it goes in there and this is $1,500. But this is meant for if you're doing like, you got a render farm or you're doing like heavy graphics modeling, 3D stuff that way. So for like most consumers, people aren't going to be messing with the 3090s. You can play games in 8K at 60 frames per second, but like who has 8K monitors? So there's a lot of power that probably no one needs. So
yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah, I think I remember getting like a GTX 1080 maybe 2 years ago or so, and again, this was back when the bit farmers were really buying them all out.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God. And it was impossible. It really was a shame that I wasn't able to get one of them, or I had to look a little bit harder, but it is what it is. And so, yeah, the fact that these are even stronger and that they're so cheap, that shit's, I'm amazed. They must have really figured something out. That's really crazy to make it so cheap.
Knowing that these are...
It's the 2000 series started the RTX integrated technology, so there's usually a bump of new tech, and then you get the performance boost with the next gen. So
knowing that these are so cheap has me like even less excited to buy a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, dude, for sure. This is the competition, man. This is the competition for PS5. So
well,
they better pull some shit.
If you're ground up building a PC, PS5 is still cheaper, right? But I'm at the point now where I needed a new CPU anyways, and I needed RAM and a new motherboard. So that's all sunken cost for me at this point. So now I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, $500 is definitely going to be cheaper than the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. And the 3070 should be able to run things better than Xbox Series X. So I will already be like, with the cheapest model of this, ahead of this generation of consoles. So it's
quite the proposition they've given you.
Well, I'm not.
Hey.
So the other issue is that there's nothing I want to play right now. So I'm in no hurry to buy this graphics card. Everything that I have, I can play. Even Kakarot, which came out in January, I can still run this on my toaster of a graphics card, 760 or whatever that's in here. So if I were going to get a graphics card right now, I'd get the 3070. But let's say we're in June of next year and I don't know, Halo Infinite is finally coming out and I'm really like, I'm on the Halo hype train for some reason. Well, then I'm like, well, can I get a deal on the 3080 or not? So I'm predicting I will probably get a 3080. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, they're definitely making the value proposition very attractive. $500 for that kind of power, especially for the PS5, we're usually someone who's going to get it. If they're going to get it at launch, they're going to be a power user, someone who's really into this kind of thing. And that's the kind of person who's going to be exposed to knowing about, all these crazy graphics cards too, usually. And they're going to be looking at that and be like, I don't know, man, I could just get this graphics card that's way cheap and even stronger and play the whole library of PC games at more convenience. So, yeah, I think Sony's got a bit of a tough sell there, unless they've got something else in the works that is just exclusive to them. So we'll see. Street Fighter 5, that might be it, but we'll see. Or Street Fighter 6 rather.
To say,
yeah. I'm just thinking through. That's probably like one of the only things that is plausible that they would be making that would attract me to the PS5 at all.
Mhm.
Because there ain't gonna be a new Metal Gear Solid, and even if there is, it ain't gonna have Kojima on there, so it probably isn't gonna be as good. You know, Devil May Cry 5 is still pretty new, so that's probably not gonna get a new one for a while. You know, it's yeah, I don't know what they could possibly say.
PS5 is going to have Best Souls as a remaster.
Oh man, that would be dope. That
And,
would be
like,
dope.
It would be pretty legit if they put it on the PC, because then, you know, like, I wouldn't even need my sugar daddy console to take care of me. I wouldn't even have to spend money on it.
And we didn't really touch on it, but that's when we were talking about the Sony corporate report. That was one of the things that was in there, is about more PC ports. And
We talked about it.
oh, we did. Okay, it's been a
Yeah.
long show, and I had a lot of
Yep.
technical difficulties, so forgive me. I may have been like, "What's going on with this?" So, yeah, I'm super hyped. I just need a game to be hyped about. But I'm glad that, you know, the Bitcoin craze has kind of come and went. So when the time comes for me to upgrade, now hopefully it'll be cheap, and I mean relatively cheap, and I'm to me, like, I never rebuilt anything in this computer because in my head computer parts were always so expensive. And for me, who really much prefers the couch, like, being honest, this is at a threshold now where I'm like, that's kind of worth it to become become part of the master race of PC gamers again. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting how we've gone in those directions. You know, the consoles have kind of like haven't really appealed to me in a while. There have been some games clearly that have been really crazy, like Tekken. I liked playing on PS4, like Ground Zeroes and Metal Gear Solid. Phantom Pain when that came out. But yeah, I'm going in a definitely a different direction. The board games are where it's at, man. Got to follow those Kickstarters. Got to find that shit on eBay on the cheap. Because if you can't get it now, that shit may quintuple in price, as has happened to me for some expansions on some board games that I want. They're like something that would be $30 is now $150, and I'm like, fuck, man. But that's just the board gaming life. But that's the life I've chosen, and it's a good one.
I thought it was bad when expansions for the DC card builder game were like $40. So.
Oh man, listen, it's the rabbit hole goes deep, my friend. It's fucking crazy in this new era of cardboard. It gets really crazy.
You know, it's like Henry Cavill. One week we find out he's into Warhammer, and the next week we find out he wants to play Superman again. He's got to fund that Warhammer addiction he has.
That's not the only way to I think fund it comfortably is to be a superstar actor in a major motion picture series.
Yeah,
I think
man.
then you can just about afford it. Just about.
Yeah, man. Those Citadel paints ain't cheap, man. That contrast paint, you think that grows on trees? It don't. You gotta spend hard-earned cash on that. Oh my god, you gotta put together those figures, the fucking landscapes and shit.
You just gotta love Henry Cavill. That's all I'm saying.
I want to get the Master Grade Perfect Gundam or Perfect Strike expansion set, but I forgot to pre-order that on the P Bandai store. So now I'm looking at dropping like $80 on 2 arms and a gun and a sword for a robot, which I don't even have. I have to buy the robot itself.
Fuck.
It looks cool.
Oh man.
I'm probably not going to do it.
Well, we're already
Get it.
kind of in this territory now of what we've been playing. But Charlie, did you want to touch on any of these other news articles that I kind of sidelined for this episode real quick?
I mean, most of it's whatever.
Okay.
There was pretty big news for the Skullgirls devs getting shut down.
Oh yeah, that's a shame. That
I
whole
don't know if you've heard about that, Steven.
Yeah, that whole situation is just real unfortunate. It sounds real crappy. And yeah, I'm glad those employees left out if the allegations are true. That shit's fucked up. But yeah, it's a shame that that game was pretty damn high quality. I played it for a bit and I kind of fell off of it, but it was good. yeah, it's a shame that that whole thing had to go down like that, or that it went down like that. It didn't have to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of a case like that where it's not just like sexual harassment, but like really obsessive control from the CEO of how he wants to handle everything and harassing people
Yeah, yeah, that's
to that point. It's nuts. Skullgirls, I think, was actually given out to a different dev, so that game's not necessarily dead, but Indivisible, their other game they were working on, is, and I know they were still doing like Kickstarter characters.
Indivisible came out though, right?
That'll never get finished. Yeah, but they were still doing Kickstarter bonuses
Oh, okay.
that aren't going to get finished now because the studio's gone.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
that's a bit of a bummer.
yeah, for sure.
Well,
And actually, on
Yeah.
that note, I apologize, gentlemen. I actually do have to head out.
Okay.
But it's been a pleasure talking to you.
yeah.
It's good to see you again. It's been too long. We certainly must do it again. And if anybody's watching this, thanks for joining. And I'm going to be heading out at least. These guys still be hanging around. And you should hang around because they're good people.
All right,
So-
Steven, thank you.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Take it easy.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Steven.
See you. Bye.
All right. So, I wanted him to talk about what board games he's been playing. Well, what have you guys been playing this past 2 weeks, I guess?
And idling in Digimon to upgrade my digital monsters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How's that game? How is that game?
It's pretty good. I've mostly been idling unless I forget to put it in the right menu. So when I leave it off when I'm at work, it doesn't time doesn't progress because the in-game clock doesn't actually seem to register where the game is closed or your Switch is sleeping. So it says I have like 500 hours played, and I have not played that game for 500 hours.
Mm.
But it's been about 500 hours since I turned that game on.
Okay.
So, yeah. But if I like put it in the wrong menu, then I guess time doesn't progress in the game, and my Digimon don't level up via idle magic.
Cool.
I got a high Andromon. He seems pretty cool.
Is that the evolution of Andromon?
Yes.
Nice. Charlie, what have you been playing?
Mostly Control DLC. Actually finished that up yesterday. It's I don't know, you watched me for one stream. What did you think about that game?
Slow and hectic at the same time, but at different times.
Yeah.
I know
It's-
I was
it's pretty
distracting
accurate.
you a lot, so maybe you would have been playing at a different pace if not for me. But
I think it was more that I hadn't played it in a year.
Mm.
Completely forgot how to do anything.
yeah.
But I picked it back up pretty quick. They had a lot of good upgrades, actually, that I found later on.
Mm.
But I think that game's wild. And they had some pretty good scenarios in that DLC, too. So I would still recommend checking it out. For sure.
Anything else? Any speedrun work in the pipelines? Speedrunning Control?
Yeah, I mean, I guess since we didn't have... No, not for
Mhm.
Control. That's not the kind of game I'd speedrun. I did do a GDQ showcase, I guess, since we didn't talk about that, since we didn't have a show last week, but
Mhm.
I did a showcase, and then immediately 2 days after, a guy came back to the community and found a skip that would have made it a lot easier for me for that run, of course. That's how it goes. Other than that, no, I've mostly just been watching movies, but I'm getting pretty excited for the upcoming game releases. I'm really interested in checking out Tony Hawk and this game I think I mentioned before, kind of a open world detective game called Paradise Killer
Mhm.
that just came out. So, and I got some VR stuff from this year that I still been meaning to check out. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm interested in.
I've been playing Ring Fit Adventure. 4 days a week, get my ring fit in, do 250 calories, and then I'm like, okay, I'm all hot and sweaty now. Dude, I cannot wait until it's cooler again, and I can just go running outside, not have to run in place in my living room, and I'm still getting hot and sweaty doing that, even with the AC and fans on me, so whatever. Summer sucks. Worst season by far. Yep. I joined the speedrun community. Billy, I don't know if you saw this, but I performed a backwards long jump in Super Mario 64, enabling me to beat the game with only 50 stars. It was pretty hype. I was about to give up because I couldn't. It was taking me like 30 minutes, and I was about to give up. And Charlie over here stealth watching me do it. And then I said I was giving up, and Charlie was like, "No, don't give up." And I was like, "Dude, I'm there." And it was like it was like, I don't know, 5 minutes after that I did it. And it was awesome.
Man, it's not that hard. You gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah, so, I can, if that was all in one run, you'd see it on Speedrun Live leaderboards, but, it wasn't.
It's a good thing you actually did that now, because if you tried to play it on the re-release version, it's playing the 1.2 Japanese version that removed BLJs.
Yeah, that's fine. It was fun doing it on my actual Nintendo 64, wink wink. Drew and I have been streaming Ocarina of Time. I'm about to enter Jabu Jabu now. That's a fun game. Man, I've actually been playing a lot of video games for once.
Does it hold up? Because you were saying that it wasn't holding up last time.
So the 3DS version is still better. I still believe that wholeheartedly. But it's a good game. It's playable. I have less camera issues in this game than I did in Super Mario 64, so that's something. Even if sometimes it's a little wonky, it's controllable. And I started up Harvest Moon 64, but that game is not quite like I remember it. The in-game clock is way faster than I thought it was, so I will probably not continue playing that, because I thought it was going to be more of a chill experience, but it's kind of like hectic, and it's not really what I wanted. And then yesterday, I streamed some Mario Kart, relearning that. Today, later, I'll probably stream some Pokemon Shield, just going through collecting the Pokédex. I was going to play it last night, but then it was like, you need to install a 3.5 hour update. I was like, oh, no. But that's about it. Playing a lot. I got The Last Guardian. It was like $8 on PSN. So I bought it, and I played it for like an hour, and as I suspected, Ellie does not like it. She does not like Trico at all. And so she barks at that game a lot, because Trico's are so well animated.
She's just always barking, constantly.
There's some subtleties to it when she's watching TV. But she hears certain noises that sound like a fight. She sees people running. She sees animals. Yeah.
Just have a picture of Jim Sterling and put that in front of your dog, so the dog yells at Jim Sterling, and then you can play Last Guardian without a problem.
She's still barking somewhere, though.
Yeah, but not barking at you. You put it in a different room.
Charlie, were you saying something?
Is it just the look of Trico, or like when she's...
It's the animation.
Or what?
It's the animations are so lifelike, that she looks at that and it registers to her that is some sort of animal. And so it really bugs her. And especially, it probably also is menacing to her, because you're from the little kid's perspective, right? And so it always looks like Trico is like coming at you as like this monster type thing. So she doesn't appreciate that. But it's fun. I'm not like in a hurry to get back to it, but it's something I'll probably plug away at here and there. It's fun.
Yeah, it's not too big of a game.
Yeah. But that's all I've been playing. I started watching Harley Quinn, Charlie. I got halfway through it. I don't know if I'll finish it. You saw it, right?
The movie or
yeah, the movie.
TV? Okay.
The
No,
Birds
I
of
haven't
Prey.
seen it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, I think Harley
Didn't
Quinn is just one
hear
of the.
good things.
I think Harley Quinn is one of the most obnoxious characters in all of comicdom, and centering a movie around her is just like, come on. There's a lot of people who like Harley Quinn for some reason, and I am not one of them. I find her just absolutely grating. But Ewan McGregor is good in it. And like the rest of the cast, anytime it's not focused on Harley Quinn, it's a perfectly okay movie. And then you go back to Harley Quinn and you're like, I don't like her.
Can't say I have the same vitriol against her.
She was better before DC tried to turn her into their Deadpool. So pretty much ever since the New 52. So the past decade.
Fair enough.
So, well, guys, I think that about brings us to the end here. Unless anyone have any parting thoughts or anything you want to address? I guess not.
No.
So, Billy, get prepped, and thanks for watching. This has been the Mashcast, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.